Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at a new love letter game, Star Wars Jabba's Palace. It's by Z-Man Games and is for 2 to 6 players, takes around 20 minutes. So first I do want to touch on the components because that's what's different in this to other love letter titles. Really nice looking Star Wars bag, nice graphic on the front. Then inside, a few little treats. We've got the stack of cards, which I am going to sleeve. I've sleeved my other love letters and it's kept them alive a lot longer than they should have. Going on probably 10 years now. We've got a tiny little Jabba's Palace overview, quick reference guide, and then my favourite part of this, worth it alone in my opinion, are these Star Wars tokens. So I will do some close-ups of all of this stuff so you've got a better idea. But they are really nice plastic. You get a ton of them. They are basically the victory points in this compared to the gems in the other titles. Really happy with those. Probably find some use for those for Star Wars Legion and other games as well. But in this, the rules are very similar with a few variants. So I am going to go through the rules. If you know love letter, you'll know this stuff. But if you don't, that's probably why you're here. So hopefully it helps in some way. So the flavor text is 2 to 6 players descend into the lair of the vile gangster Jabba the Hutt. Use the skills of heroes of the Rebel Alliance and palace denizens to defeat your foes and carry out your agenda. Now that really sets this game up. It gives it a bit of theme, which I do like. There are 2 sides in this. There's different ways to win. So compared to regular love letter or versions I've played, I know Infinity Gauntlet Marvel does very similar. It actually changes the game slightly and I do enjoy that. And obviously I'm a huge Star Wars fan. See, I'm wearing a little Mandalorian hoodie right now. Big fan of the theme and a big fan of the changes they've made. So let's get into them. So to start, you're going to give everyone a reference sheet. So there's plenty for everyone. You hand these out, put the rest away, shuffle the cards. Again, like love letter, put one to the side and then deal everybody a card. Now on your turn, you're going to get an extra card. You then choose which of those to play. Once you've played your card, it goes in front of you in your own area because there are a few ways in this version that you can win from cards in front of you. So it's important that you don't put them in the middle, you divide them up and remember what people played. It's worth noting now, if you are playing the 2-player game, you then deal 3 face up. I think it just makes it a little more interesting. You have some idea of the cards, but there is some mystery. So I do like this edition. So like I mentioned before, there are then 4 agenda cards. You're going to shuffle them and reveal one at random. For example, this one says highest number in hand wins the round. Highest number of Jabba and Rebel in hand both win. Highest sum of Jabba in play area wins the round. That's why you need to keep track. And then obviously most Rebels in play area wins the round. I should say when I say Jabba, I just mean the symbol. I'm not sure what that actual symbol is. So there's a few different ways to win it. So there's a few different tactics and ways you can play the game, which makes it very different. It's not just the one outcome we had before. There's a few different ones. So you do have to kind of work with that, depending on the game and depending which is revealed. Again, revealing these agendas is very thematic. Having more rebels, it adds to that theme. There's different types of characters, good versus evil, as well as just trying to work out. I don't know if this is still trying to find who sent the love letter. I don't know who's sending a love letter to Jabba. But let's go through some of the cards. So we've got Jabba the Hutt, we've got Luke Skywalker, the Rancor, Boba Fett, Leia, we've got Bib Fortuna, Lando Calrissian, Random Mercenary, Chewbacca, Salacious Crumb. That is a deep cut. That's a really interesting choice. I think choosing a Random Mercenary is quite interesting. There's so many characters they could have picked. R2-D2, Guard, C-3PO and Han in Carbonite. That's a really interesting selection of characters. They are not the ones I would have selected given the choice, but they're interesting. There's a few deeper cuts into Star Wars lore there, or some lesser known characters I should say. So let's go through what the cards do as well. Choose another player. If they have a rebel in hand, they are out. Good way to use Jabba. Obviously trying to take out someone like Luke of the more powerful characters. Luke's ability then says, choose another player. If they have a Jabba in hand, I should say when I say Jabba, I just mean the symbol. I'm not sure what that actual symbol is. Let's call it scum. We'll call it scum. Choose another player. If they have a scum in hand, they are out. Similar to Jabba, but obviously this is his game, so Luke's not quite as powerful. Then we've got the Rancor. All players with the lowest number in hand except 0 are out. Count up out loud from 1 to find the lowest. So there is a chance that you just eat a ton of guards with this one, which again I think is really thematic, very cool. Very different to actual Love Letter, so huge fan of that. And then we've got Boba Fett. His ability works sort of like he is a bounty hunter. Choose another player, take the card from their hand and place it in your play area. So depending on the game type, the agenda, there's a few different ways to win with him. Then we've got Leia Organa, the other 5. Draw 2 cards, keep 1 card and put your other 2 on the bottom of the deck in any order. So you're going to have some idea of what's in the deck. You're going to have some new cards. So it's a way to refresh your hand. Very powerful card. Normally the heroes work together, but not in this instance. And then we've got Bib. So until your next turn, players cannot choose you for their card effects. Very similar to stuff like, I'm trying to think what it's called. Basically, Handmaiden, I think it is in a normal game. And then we've got another 4 Lando Calrissian. Choose another player and look at their hand. You may trade hands with them. Seems pretty good. Can't complain about that one. Very similar to the King in the Adventure Time. I think in the regular one as well. And then we've got Mercenary. Choose another player and secretly compare hands. Whoever has the lowest number is out. Again, exactly like the 3s in the other game. But then we've got Chewie. Choose another player. If they have a scum 4 or less in hand, they are out. So a good way to snipe out characters. Then over to Salacious Crumb. Choose another player and look at their hand. Again, identical to the other ones. R2-D2 says either look at the face down set aside card or choose another player and look at their hand. So that's a good way to get info nobody else in the game will have. So really powerful card. R2-D2 seems to have one of the most powerful abilities in most games. In Star Wars Legion, he can just give you victory points, and in this he gives you information no other card can get you. So again, very powerful. And then we've got the guards. So there's normally 5 of these guys. There is only 2 in this, but choose another player and guess a number. If they have that number in hand, they are out. They work exactly the same. And then finishing off with C-3PO, choose another player and guess a number. If they have that number in hand, they are out. If they do not, they do the same to you. So I think that's a slightly worse version of a guard, which makes sense. And then finally, 0 points, it's Han Solo in Carbonite. At the end of the round, if you have this in hand, gain 1 victory token. It fits the character of Han. It's very roguelike. It's very against the rest of the cards. It doesn't work how the game works. It's a sneaky way to grab a point, and probably my favourite card, honestly. But yeah, they've added a ton of stuff that make it very unique, very different, very thematic compared to Love Letter and in the Star Wars universe. Let me know if there's anything you're unsure of, any rules or any specific cards you're not sure how it works, and I will go through them with you. That's all I've got for this episode. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully you've been watching Mandalorian and more recently Boba Fett. Let me know in the comments of your thoughts on both. That's all I've got for this one. I will catch you in the next one.